were caught up in this because they were there on a study visit. We can speak now to Prosper Niadu. He's a security analyst with a lot of insights on happenings in the African sub-region.
Hello.
Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Hello. Good morning to you, sir. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Ibrahim.
This is Francis. Good morning. Prosper Niadu, good morning.
Hello.
This is Francis. Can you hear me, sir?
Hello.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Okay. Let's try and sort out the connection and engage Prosper Niado, who is a security analyst, on the matter of the Kenyan protest, which has led to 5 Ghanaian MPs caught up in the demonstration, which has seen parts of the Kenyan parliament go up in flames, torched. The former SADA boss, Dr. Charles Abogri, has been speaking about the happenings in Kenya and the need for the Ghanaians to look towards protest in asking for leadership to do better. Let's hear exactly what he said.
And to take us back to international capital, which is economic crisis, giving way to another economic crisis, and we will be back to the IMF for the 18th time, the 19th time, and the 20th time. We need some more radical alternative perspective on the current economic restructuring. I am not hearing it from Ghanaian civil society. I remember ideas, International Development Economics Association organized a large debt conference. All the radical ideas that were coming from international, nobody was listening. Our political elite on their panel, my mother had died at that time, so I couldn't even come to my own conference. But I was our political elite. They were not contesting. They were simply talking about one person is a little more corrupt than the other, and that one part is spending a little bit more than the other. This is a serious inflection moment that will lead a make or break of our country in general and the survival of many poor people. That's my second inflection moment. There are a few more, but I do not have the time to do it. For sustainability, I do think the main important thing is for society to see civil society organizations as mobilized, addressing society-wide issues, connecting the dots, not only to the urban elites organizations, but also rural organizations, forming new ways of mobilizing, getting them their voices visible in the times that matter. We have been shown a way by the Kenyan generation Z. They protested as bad as the Ghanaian taxation. They went on the streets by their own. They are still fighting. They are organized, Occupy Parliament. They have been consistent. The Ghanaian generation Z are also quite capable, only if they acted as citizens, not idiots, and that we are collectively recognizing that unless the country as a whole progresses, no single individual or clan progression can be sustainable. Can we also have a Generation Z uprising? Thank you.
That's Charles Abogri, the former CEO of SADA, speaking there. Let's meet to Prosper Niado. He's a security analyst. Join us this morning. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Francis.
We have seen the protest against the new tax introduction by Mr. Ruto's government in Kenya. That has led to the youth pouring out onto the streets in protest, and some going as far as torching the Parliament of Kenya, for which 5 Ghanaian MPs were there on a study visit. Before we even deal with the specifics, what do you make of how this protest has built up to this point and how it's being managed between government and the youth of the country?
Okay, thank you, and good morning to your listeners. Let me first say that it's a very unfortunate development that matters should go up to this extent. Under the current dispensation, we have members of parliament representing their people, and a representation means that they must convey the sentiments of their people on the floor of parliament. in terms of discussions, debates, and all that. Now, if the people are then forced to go into the street to demonstrate against a particular legislation for which they do not expect their representatives to pass, and they go ahead to pass it, then it becomes a problem. So you would notice that there is a particular disconnect in this regard between the reps in the House of Parliament and the people they are representing. The second aspect of this is that protests must be peaceful under all circumstances. But where you also have the occasion where protests are ongoing, to the extent that there may be elements within these protesters who go ahead perpetrating criminal activities or crimes for that matter, it should also not be the case, and it must be condemned. Perhaps what I could add is to say it's unfortunate that this had to lead to the death of about 5 persons, as is being reported. If that is true, it's very unfortunate, and we should not allow these things to get to this extent.
But the spark that led to this is the decision by Mr. Ruto's government in Kenya to introduce a raft of taxes, which the people are resisting. And it's coming after President Ruto had gone to secure a restructuring of its international debt commitments earlier this year, something which immediately pushed the surge in the value of its currency. How should these economic decisions and tax introduction be managed to avoid such a protest which has turned violent?
In the first place, taxes generate revenue for government. And our understanding is that taxes in general must be progressive. Progressive means that you don't go taxing people who are not working or are not in the position of bearing that burden of tax. And so when you have to legislate and there's somebody who is home depending on the parents and not even having a job to work to even pay taxes, and they feel taxed, they are bound to protest. They don't have to depend on any opposition leader or anybody to tell them, to rebel against this kind of legislation. What it means is that they are frustrated. And this is perhaps one of the major reasons why these youth have organized themselves through social media to embark on this protest. And so if the tax is not progressive but regressive in nature, this can be expected. So I am thinking that we should find various ways and means of generating revenue, not only heavily depending on tax and more so taxing people who are not even in the position to pay that tax.
Do you foresee this situation being quelled almost immediately, or we could see this buildup of protests continue in Kenya?
The president has the ultimate decision, and that is pending, either to sign this legislation into law or to prevent this protest further. Now, what we have heard from the people in the streets is that they would continue until this is withdrawn. And so it is left to the president and his government to decide what to do. Either to go ahead and sign it and deal with the consequences, or to manage it with regard to maybe finding other ways to peacefully resolve this unfolding situation. But as you can see, Francis, the way the protests are ongoing, especially that there are also rogue elements who are getting into shops, stealing people's things, people are being shot, it can degenerate very badly and very quickly. I've got friends from Kenya calling me and telling me how bad the situation is. And I think that it would be a good decision if this is held onto for now, and perhaps they find a way of further discussing to see how best to resolve the issue.
Are there any lessons, as the old adage says, when you see a friend's beard on fire, you might as well fetch a cup of water and put yours in readiness by your chin. Are there any lessons to learn based on this Kenyan situation for us here in Ghana?
Oh yeah, there are certainly obvious lessons. There's always been this talk about our country being peaceful, and that we are not naturally that rebellious type, and we've not had conflict, and so some things cannot happen. But though contexts may differ, and we can say that the context in Kenya is different from that of Ghana, these things are very possible. The only thing is that, in Ghana, we politicize everything. There are certain things that you cannot politicize. What's evolving in Kenya right now goes beyond just an issue of politics. People went and voted for President Ruto, but there are these very people in the streets calling on him not to sign this current legislation because it's not in their interest. This is the voice of the people. And if the voice of the people come out and you don't heed it, then you would have the consequence. You have to bear that responsibility for whatever happens. And so also going forward, it's also important that we do not just based on political whims and caprices, ignore what the larger population is talking about. We must always take that into context in the decisions we make, and we must not just allow people who, for their various selfish or individual interests, just want to propagate a particular motive. We must keep a listening ear and always make sure that the interest or the collective interest of the people is paramount.
All right. Professor Niado, I thank you very much for your time. Are there other threats that we should be paying attention to in the African sub-region?
So the continent has various issues ongoing, but then you notice, like in the West, there are these coup d'etats that we are dealing with, and also the bloc in that Sahel area of Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso wanting to break away from ECOWAS and all that. We had that on our hands. We need to deal with quickly, and also transition into a democracy. In the eastern side, you have the DRC and the Sudan and all these other crises ongoing, which also needs to be managed. And then Kenya, which is seen as a bastion of democracy, quickly degenerating into a situation that we wouldn't want to see. So there are issues. And being complicated by this whole issue of climate change and factors and all that. So we do really have a lot to do. And I think that for us going forward as a continent, we must just stick to the good governance principles. We must not just be on the papers. Let's translate these things into practicality. Let people's needs be addressed. And when you take care of them, they don't really care whatever you do. They just want to have a peaceful environment to go about their businesses.
All right. I thank you very much for your time, sir, and for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Nice day.
Nice day. Prosper Niadu is a security analyst joining us this morning with his thoughts. He's got a lot of insights working with the security groups in the West African sub-region and also with the African Union. It's 7:08. You're listening to Morning Star. Now let's find out what's happening in the courts. His name is Mutala Inusa. Today he is in a blue-themed shirt and vest. His unmistakable haircut cannot be missed. Cannot be missed at all at any point. Mutala, good morning.
Good morning, Francis.
You must be as worried as I am about situations in Kenya, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you have the leader of that country.
Yeah, Ruto.
Make some pronouncement, describe people as criminals and all that. Mm-hmm. That's a worrying
scenario. You said elements within.
Yes.
Where criminals that were fomenting trouble.
Absolutely. It's a worrying scene, especially so when we all saw what he stood on to campaign and how he managed to win the people's mandates. and then at the end, they have to go through situations like this. It's worrying.
But just for context, let's have people understand why the people are protesting. The government was looking to introduce a raft of taxes. One, a 16% sales tax, 16% sales tax on bread. 25% duty on cooking oil, 25%. There was also a planned increase in the tax on financial transactions, what we call the levy, as well as a new annual tax on vehicle ownership, amounted to 2.5% of the value of the vehicle. Now, all these ones I've mentioned, the government has said they will drop them. There was also the eco levy, a charge on products that contribute to waste and harm the environment, was another key provision of the bill that the government has now suggested amendments to.
Okay.
Now, critics point out that it will lead to the increase in the cost of essential items such as sanitary parts, and he said many girls already unable to afford these products often miss school during their periods, and baby nappies would also be affected. The government said a levy would apply only to imported products, and the eco levy was also aimed at digital products, including mobile phones, cameras, and recording equipment. But many Kenyans say they rely on these products, essential to the digital economy, for their livelihoods. Now, the ones that remain untouched, 16% tax on goods and services for the direct and exclusive use in the construction and equipment of specialized hospitals with a minimum bed capacity of 50, and that's been untouched. Higher import fees, rate of import tax from 2.5% to 3% on the value of the item to be paid by the importer. What else is there? Okay, I guess that's about it. The ones that are untouched are the ones I've mentioned.
So you just look at the situation and ask the ones that are untouched are the most important ones.
Yeah.
You realize that.
Yeah.
So
imports not touched.
You can
tax on goods and services 16%, not touched.
So you see how the people will, and you can liken the situation to what is happening here in our country.
In terms of taxes,
yes. Yeah. You go to the malls, go and buy stuff, and then you see some of the like, what is happening?
The prices, yeah.
Yeah. And some of the taxes, you ask yourself, what is happening here? E-levy, health. It doesn't. So every now and then you are paying charges, you don't know what they are being used for, and all that. So all these things goes into, or they go into analyzing situations and how it better the life of the people.
And decisions that ought to be taken.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the Kenyan situation is a worrisome situation that ought to be looked at.
All right, brother. Let's move to what's happening in the courts. Yesterday, there was the Cocoa Board case. How come there was no show?
No show. So on Monday, no show. Yesterday, no show. So we expect tomorrow that there will be show.
Tomorrow?
Yes.
But today, show?
Today, the court is not sitting today in relation to that case. So the witness, essentially the witness was not present. We were expecting the safe defense witness for Said businessman Said Wagongo and Agricourt Ghana Limited, but the witness was indisposed, so there was nothing that the court to do other than to agenda. So tomorrow we hope that the said defense witness for Said Wagongo, the second accused, and Agricourt Ghana Limited, the third accused, will be in court to testify.
What about the Saglemi housing case?
Yesterday, yes, it came on. Justice Ernest Owusu Dapa, Alhaji Collins Dada is out of the country on parliamentary duty, so he didn't come to court yesterday. But the other two accused persons were present. Okay. The third accused person, Alhaji Zibrim Yakubu, is not well, so he's asked where the court has granted him permission to be out until such time that he's required. So, and then the contractor in the matter has also passed on. So the two were present in court yesterday, Kwekuajima Mensah and Nuvi Tete Angelo, businessman. And it was for a continuation of the trial where prosecution's second witness is in the witness box testifying. And yesterday, they have some challenges to as it were, do with the exhibit that he intends to testify. The indication is that some of those exhibits are already before the court, but some too are not. So when he picked the document, he made reference to exhibit attached. But look at the document that he's making those exhibits that they attach, and you cannot find the exhibit. So the court is saying that if you cannot add the exhibit, for anybody to pick it and say that, okay, I made reference to the pen, I can find the pen. I made reference to the phone, I can find the phone. But you can only see a document that is making references to phone, pen, and you cannot find those things. It begs the question that when somebody else picked the document someday, somehow to come, it could easily allege that maybe one of the class has picked out those documents and all that. So the court will not accept that. And prosecution say that they have searched a situation. They are confronted with such situation, and therefore then they will have to go back and put their house in order. Then, when the case was about to adjourn, prosecutors was seeking an adjournment for the witness to travel. There, Justice Ernest Owusu-Dampah wasn't happy and said, "Look, the court will not entertain any attempt to delay the trial, especially so when the first prosecution witness in the matter, Reverend Stephen Yao, was in the witness box. There were setting so many adjournments for him to travel out, for him to travel on certain duties and all that. The court is saying that if you are not ready to prosecute your case, come and pack your things and go home. Go back. Anytime you are ready, you come. The court will not contain that. So the court has made a firm order that next week, July 2nd, the witness should be in court. If he doesn't come to court, Justice Ernest Owusu-Dampah is saying that the court will act. What he meant by the court will act, that day we will know.
We'll get to know. All right. Reverend Kusi Boateng's contempt case. What's going on with that case?
So sometime last year, this issue was all over. Very controversial matter where we alleged Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa is alleged to have denied receiving some document or rejected certain processes that were being served on him. Issue of Metro TV, he received, tore them, and then dispatched them away and all that. So it became a subject matter where Kobina Edrijenfi, alias Victor Kusi Boateng, initiated a contempt application against Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa.
Okay.
Then the High Court, on sometime in February last year, dismissed that request. The court made references to some inconsistencies and the fact that those allegations could not be proven. And you remember that the court even made further order to the GRA to investigate that who is Kobina Edrijenfi and who is Kusi Boateng. So they are, for the court, they are two different people. So the court should investigate all those things. So he was unhappy with the decision of the court, so he went to the Court of Appeal. So when he went to the Court of Appeal to challenge that, the lawyers of Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa also filed a counter-claim to say that that particular notice of appeal that Reverend Kusi Boateng and his lawyers are seeking should be struck out. So yesterday, that was the case that was before the Court of Appeal. Then just when that motion was supposed to be moved, lawyer for Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa indicated that they have objection against the panel. And their contention was that all intents and purposes shows that it was Justice Senyo Jamefe who was going to chair the panel. And they made reference to a Daily Post report sometime last week or in the course of the week, which says that the CJ has asked Justice Jamefe to hand over the docket to some. So coming to court to realize that it was a different panel, that gave credence to that report to say that yes, also something of this sort has happened. That's how the newspaper reported. And so they are saying that if you look at what is happening in the case, the CJ has a relationship, has an affinity with Reverend Kusi Boateng. It is Reverend Kusi Boateng is his pastor, I say. And then he's also the spiritual father of the Chief Justice. So to go and bring somebody like the Judicial Secretary, who is also working directly with the Chief Justice, then it means that for them, they will not get justice. So they are accusing the Chief Justice of being biased in relation to this one. The justice should not be seen to be done, but it should be seen as something that is being done.
Should not be done, but it must be seen to be done.
And so they want the panel
to be changed.
Absolutely.
Changed by who? The same Chief Justice?
The same Chief Justice. So that begs the question. So who initiated the first panel which had Justice Jamefe on? And who now panel this one that has just Pamela Granting on? And they say that they want the panel. So today, the panel will decide whether the objections should be overruled or sustained. And the outcome of that will determine what will happen to the application seeking for the motion on notice to be struck out. So that is what we do expect today. But we have been speaking or have been interacting with Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. Yesterday he was in court. Reverend Victor Kusi Boateng wasn't present in court. But I've been finding out yesterday what he made of the case that took place yesterday.
Well, you heard my lawyers in court today. I would prefer not to speak. Fortunately, the court will deliver its decision tomorrow. And 24 hours is not a long wait. So I would rather that we wait for the court's decision, and then we will speak to all of what we know and have discovered so far as this appeal is concerned. So if you will grant me that wish.
In all of this, always you are present in court, the other party is absent in court. Do we know any?
We continue to demonstrate our respect for the courts and our judges. That's all we'll say for now.
That's Samuel Okudita Blackwell.
Okay, yes. So this case came up yesterday and today. So we'll know the outcome today in court. So it's one of the cases that we look forward to today.
Before we look to what's happening, you have already mentioned one of the cases that are happening today.
Yes.
We're told that JUSAG has turned 50 and they are doing things.
Yes. So the launch was performed sometime in February, early this year, by the Chief Justice, where
JUSAG being the Judicial
Service Staff Association of Ghana. So without them, the judges do not have work to do.
Are you seen to be judicial staff?
Come again.
You are legal affairs correspondent. Are you judicial staff?
Yes, I'm saying without them.
I'm saying you.
No.
You are legal affairs correspondent.
Yes, I'm not.
Are you an officer of the court?
Some way, somehow. I'm a friend to the court.
A very good friend of the court.
I'm a good friend to the court.
Nice
so
one. Okay.
When they see me, you know that I'm a friend. I don't have any locals there. The only thing I know that I am a professional consumer.
No, you are more than compulsory.
No,
you are our legal affairs correspondent.
Hold on.
Do not reduce that high rank.
Is that your office? Is that your office?
No.
That's not your office.
But we have supervision over your office. This is not the court of you.
No.
Just to talk. No, this is my court.
Yesterday, this is yours. Yesterday, I walked into one of the court and I was like, what are you doing here? We are not sitting. I said, yes, I've left my way. I have to come back and find out what you are doing. So when I go, I can go and say something. The only profession that you are interested in what happened in people's house.
Okay, back to the 50.
Okay, so the Judicial Service Staff Association, like I indicated, as part of activity to celebrate the 50 years anniversary, are doing a whole lot of activities. And this time around, they have partnered with Vanguard Assurance to adopt a policy for the staff as part of the 50 years anniversary and all that. And this very exercise took place in Tamale, at the Tamale High Court. And let's hear from, we are going to listen to a report that has captured the whole policy and what the staff are supposed to look forward to. And the president of JUSAG, Samuel Afutinati, has been leading this very well. Let's take a listen to this report on the new policy for JUSAG members.
Addressing members at the program, the national president of JUSAG, Samuel Afote-Osu, underscored the benefits of the policy as part of measures to ensure that members have a better alternative source of financial support for their funerals.
This is undoubtedly a crucial turning point. We must remain vigilant, for there is no time to waste. We must unite now or we perish. In this spirit, I say to all staff, please do not entertain any fear of what some people are doing to undermine our success. We are all well aware that as leadership of JUSAG has promised its members a better condition of service, so are some group of individuals have also vowed to obstruct the implementation of the CI. And we cannot afford to be complacent. The fight is far from over, and we must continue to unite and focus our efforts to ensure that our hard-won gains are protected and built upon.
Northern Sector Area Manager of the National Insurance Commission, Joseph Akanlam, commended JUSAG for selecting the Northern region for the national launch, emphasizing JUSAG's partnership with Vanguard to share risk is remarkable.
JUSAG is partnering Vanguard Assurance to share risk. You're going to share risk to ensure that in the event of something happening to you in the course of your job, you are not left alone. I'm also happy with the fact that insurance companies, sometimes they say they will do A and they will do B. But they know very well that they are dealing with people who are not afraid of the court. So they will be careful. And I want to also advise JUSAG to make sure you cross all the T's and dot all the I's in the contracts. Because if you leave a vacuum, the company can use that one as an advantage not to pay the claim.
Head of Special Market at Vanguard Life Assurance Company Limited, Mr. Yusuf Adams, said their partnership with JUSAG is to enhance the existing benefits of members' welfare when it comes to funerals.
And the partnership is to enhance the existing benefits that JUSAC members were already getting from their welfare, their local welfare. And what we are adding to what they were benefiting is enhanced benefits. One, the sum assures that members of JUSAC used to get under their local or their self-managed welfare is going to improve. Vanguard will be giving more sum assures, more benefits to their members than they were originally getting from JUSAC. Two, Vanguard will also add more risk benefits. For example, under this partnership, it's not just going to be the death of a member. We're also going to cover members who are permanently disabled. They also have to benefit under this scheme. And what we are saying is that we are not going to wait for a member to necessarily die before JUSAC will run to the, will go to the support of their member, or will go to assist their member. Even when a member is critically ill, under 7 selected critical illness, Vanguard Life Assurance Company Limited will provide the sum assured for the member through JUSAC to pay to their member.
The policy, which is part of initiatives to celebrate the JUSAG 50th anniversary, provides free insurance cover for members to the tune of 5,000 Ghana cedis to cover the member, spouse, 2 children, and 2 parents.
Right, so that's the report there. All right. Mutala.
Francis.
Let's look to today.
Sure.
Okay? Yesterday is yesterday. Today is today. The ex-PPA boss case, what's become of it?
Ajenim Boateng.
Yes.
That case is coming on today before Justice Marie Louise Simmons, Criminal Court 2. And this is one of the cases that the special prosecutor is prosecuting. And so the attorneys or the prosecutors are from the OSP's office. What we do expect today is for case management conference. And case management conference, prosecution have filed their disclosure document. If you see it, very bulky. So they'll sit together with all the parties, the accused persons, prosecution, and then the courts. Then they'll look at whether indeed whatever has been filed is what has been received by all the parties. And when that is done and they are all certain there are no issues, then the court will fix a date for the trial to begin. And the trial beginning is by way of prosecution calling their very first witness. So that is what we do expect today in relation to the ex-PPA boss, Ajenim Boateng. Remember, initially he was charged together with his brother-in-law. 18 counts, all of them were dropped, and a new fresh charge sheet was filed. And this time around, he's facing 8 counts of charges. So that is what we expect. He has pleaded not guilty to the charge anyway, and so he will be back in court today for case management conference.
I see. What of the Ofankor tenant murder?
Nana can come. So that case is a jury trial, and so we're expecting today. We hope to see the further cross-examination of prosecution's 4th witness. But unfortunately, like we do know, the jurors are on strike until something dramatic happened today. That case certainly will be adjourned. And this case is also before Justice Marie Louise Simmons of the Criminal Court too. So we expect that to come out. But if the jurors are not back, it means that it has to be adjourned.
Okay. Hope Senadoye.
Many remember that controversial arrest of, did I say the arrest was controversial? No, that's not what I mean. That case was all over because they said that he published something. He said during the 2016 election, there were 7 things that he did around somewhere in the Volta region and all that. So he was charged for publication of false news, but he pleaded not guilty before the Dansoman Circuit Court. And then the case was adjourned today for the prosecution or to file necessary disclosures and documents that they rely on in the trial of this case. So we will be back in court today to find out whether indeed they have complied with the orders of the court. And if that is done, the court will make further orders in relation to this very case. So Hobson Adoye is back in court today.
All right. So those are for what's happening today in the courts.
Absolutely.
All right. Does the nature of the cases determine how you pick your colors?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Because blue seems to be your go-to authoritative color?
Interestingly, I don't like the other side of blue.
Chelsea.
No, I don't like them. I hate them. I hate
Man
them.
City, you
I
do.
hate them with passion.
Man City, you
All
do.
of them. I hate them with passion.
They rob you of the very things you need.
No,
whether Europa, whether league.
You know, when somebody is doing something good, it's very difficult for you to hate them. You hate the people up to a certain point, then you start to admire them. And when you do that, you have to learn from what they are doing that you cannot do. So City, we don't hate them. We just admire what they are doing, and we are learning our way so that we can be able to match them. And they have seen that we are coming with force. But the other side of blue, there, and the
That was
I'm blue no cry nyefe.
Hey,
Ampo.
but you're wearing it.
Nyefe.
But you're wearing it. I wish Ibrahim was here to give it to you. But you're wearing it. Anyway, so before I let you go,
Francis,
let me say a very, very, very special birthday to somebody very dear to you. Says, I'm so proud of you today. I'm happy with your growth. Continue to defy the odds and step out gallantly as you demonstrate in this picture. May the countenance of God continue to locate you. Long life, abundant blessings, more grace, good health, and more cash. With much love I say, happy, happy birthday, Mariam Akwete.
Yes.
AKA Mimi. Yes. And this is from the EIB Legal Affairs Correspondent, Mutala Inusa. To you, Mariam Akwete, AKA Mimi. Please, for emphasis, so that the court records and the Hansard can all record this very important message. Ibrahim, have you alerted the Hansard writer too? Alert. Says, I am so proud of you today. I am happy with your growth. Continue to defy the odds and step out gallantly as you demonstrate in this picture. I still can't see the picture, but okay. May the countenance of God continue to locate you. Long life, abundant blessings, more grace, good health, and more cash. I wish I could add more love to it. But anyway, with much love, with much love, I say, happy birthday, Mariam Akwete, alias Mimi, from the EIB Legal Affairs Correspondent, Mutala Inusa, with their inky womb.
Francis, you know that there are some people that are
very
closer
special
to you.
That's
yes.
true.
And
is she a sister?
This young lady has been.
Oh,
has
young
been
lady. Is
every
your sister?
single
Younger
lesson.
sister?
No, she's not my younger sister.
Okay, friend?
Yes. She has
close
been,
friend?
She has very, very close.
Is she your date?
Very, very close friend.
Is she your incoming wife?
I thought she's been very special friend of
But you're not answering my question.
I think especially how many people would describe
special friend?
Friends.
No, you know you have
special.
that person that you meet and she's everything to you.
Exactly.
Your
That's
eyes
the
have gone
point.
red.
Oh.
Look, your eyes have gone red.
Oh no.
Wow.
This is legality of the
Smitten in
love
love.
affair.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Because see, the message I read
yes.
has a lot
You are
of
putting your own spins on it.
legal.
No, this is not
See,
spin.
it is
You are
legal,
putting your
but
own
it's
spin.
laden with love. You know,
Yes.
legal love.
Oh
you know?
yes, there's so much love in this very much
That's
message
right.
that I have sent. Yeah.
That's right.
She's a very special person.
Oh, Mimi.
Today,
Mimi,
if
thank
if
you for me.
know,
Mi-
if you
Her
know-
name is Mimi.
Mimi.
Oh, Mimi.
We will
Mimi.
always remember you.
We will
you know
remember
who she is, then you understand the content of the message.
Oh.
Who is she? Tell us.
Yes,
Who is she?
I think she's a friend. She's
Yeah.
Good friend.
very close friend.
A good friend, a
Close
supportive friend.
Yeah.
A
Always there for
offers
you.
a shoulder to lean on.
Yeah.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Yes, she's
This is
been a very
beautiful.
special.
Modern song.
Yeah.
Odo Vivian Ekwe. Oh.
Yeah. Mutala in love. That would be the
Chale.
new Kumawood movie.
Mutala in love.
Mutala.
That's
love.
according to IB.
Chicken.
Yeah.
That's according to
No,
IB.
but you see, if it's not tied, we have just tied it here. That's
Sharp.
the point. You see, we
Sharp,
are
sharp.
capable of making things happen.
Mimi, if you have been delaying the
Yeah,
answer,
that's
that is
it.
the day you
That
see
is
that.
not happy, we'll make
No
it happen,
problem.
yeah.
We'll make things happen.
Yeah.
That's it. We just snap a finger and it happens. So,
Yeah,
Mimi,
so today-
we celebrate
today
you
is,
this morning. I will pray for long life and good health and prosperity and understanding, especially between the two of you.
Yes.
Communicate.
Look, I
We
have never
celebrate
seen
you.
Mutala this bloodshot eye.
Yes, there's always that time.
But
Smiling.
I was here the last
So
time.
look,
I was here the last
the
time.
voice
To which
quality
end?
has even
No,
increased.
I was here the last time with another message. So
No.
This one is vetted and approved by the Chief Justice. Chief Justice has vetted and approved this one.
I'm sure Justice Tokuno saw this message before you got it. I am very certain. Anyway, so great. Mimi, once again, happy birthday to you. We will keep this video. The day that we do this thing, like Biko also testified, we'll put it up on the giant screen.
Biko was here to testify.
Judge. Very, very important. Anyway, also, super happy birthday going out to you, an amazing soul, Nana Isi Obin of Takrade, an ardent listener of the Morning Star. Stay blessed and may the Almighty continue to guide and protect you. Have a great one. From your friends and your loved ones, wishing you the very best on your birthday today. Nana Isi Obin of Takrade, you are an ardent listener of the Morning Star.
And from all of us,
Yeah.
constant feedback from her, listening to us.
Nice.
And such an amazing lover of the show and a friend to the show. Happy birthday.
Some people deserve to be celebrated because they make the show very interesting, very exciting, and all that.
Super.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
So, Francis, just before I go, let me give a shout out to one person who has been out, like you mentioned. Today is not his birthday, but he's been an ardent listener of.
If you say
Starr
he there,
FM.
you can do it.
Yes.
She, I'll do it for you. Shake not.
I call him Noble James Kofi Mason.
Okay.
Yes, he worked with GRE Customs.
Okay.
Yes, and he's listening to us live every day. He tells me I should say hi to you.
That's right.
Every now and then, it always escapes my mind. He just texted me and said I should tell
Don't
you that
forget, yeah.
he's listening to us live. So, Mr. James Kofi Mason, good morning to you, and I wish you all the best.
Have a lovely day, sir.
And he is a member of my student association, Bogoso St. Augustine Senior High School.
Bogosu St. Augustine.
Senior High School. And it's one of the executives.
They have a proud son in you. Bogosu St. Augustine.
Yes. If you don't add the Bogoso, don't mention it.
Yeah.
Because it's a Bogoso
St. Augustine
Senior High
So
School.
you are Bogosu Ogasku.
Yes.
Okay.
Not Cape Coast.
So yours is not
Cape
Apsu.
Coast
Yours is
no.
B Ogasku.
Babsa.
Babsa.
Yes. Bogoso St. Augustine Past Student Association.
Babsa.
Babsa. Yes.
Babsa.
Babsa. Yes.
Dinimudu.
Babsa. And
Babsa.
we have a lot of lawyers in lawyer Akajisi. If you know in Western
Yes,
region, when
yes.
you go there, you mention lawyer Akajisi.
He's the top guy,
It's
yeah.
a product. If you go to you mentioned lawyer Kwame Usi Brown, GIG.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Kwame Osi Brown.
Yes.
Oh, that man was fantastic.
He's
He's
a
the one that
product.
he asked the question in the classroom.
I know.
And I collected the money. I answered and collected the money. Big man.
So
He taught me media law.
Absolutely. He taught me
Solid
media law.
man.
If there's anybody who made me venture into court reporting.
Yeah, he's
yes,
the one.
Yes. Because after learning court reporting at GIG.
That man will come to the lecture hall.
Yes.
Look, Ibrahim, by the time the class is done, you are fired up. You are fired. Like,
So he's got everything that you will say. So he's even our president. He's the president of the Bogosu St. Augustine's Past Student Association. So Babs our president. And Justice Kweku Tewi Akabuafo, currently a justice of the Court of Appeal, is also a product of Bogosu St. Augustine Senior High School. So we have the men. We have them men.
Hey, sir.
Yes, we have them men.
Okay.
Lawyer Kwame Usi Brown, I say good morning to you this morning. Lawyer
He's now a
Akajisi.
retired
Yeah, he's in retirement.
retired
now.
commissioner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of
He's a
GRE.
great man.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
He's a great man.
Now
He's still a great
he's
man.
enjoying his retirement.
So I had two lecturers who are my best friends on campus.
Yes.
Him and then Iwafo. In fact, there were three. There were three.
Another one.
Him, Iwafo, and then Dr. Wilberforce.
Disa. Okay.
The
Yes.
three of
I think I've encountered all of them.
Yeah.
And Ebuafo will come to class. You know how he always does it. He doesn't end the lectures.
No.
The first 30-minute action. He was the one that would say, dress like you are going to interview Ejata. So on
Exactly.
Mondays when you have newspaper reporting,
You have to look
nobody,
it.
you don't mess up.
Yeah. You rock
So
the
this-
tie sharp. Charlie, good time. Real good time. Thank you,
Sure.
brother.
Thank you, Francis.
For your time, for joining us. Let me go for a short break now. When I return, I have some good news for you. ODK is in the house. We'll get talking shortly right here on The Morning Star. Stay with us.